Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Eraj Abewardena on stage.
Thank you very much. Aibon. We had a very inspiring speech by the chairperson of the SLTDA. For me, it was very inspiring because we have gone through a lot of, I would say in English, shit. Please excuse my language. Mr. President, OPA, Mr. Senarath, President-elect Mr. Dulit Pereira, General Secretary Tushira Gunasekara, members of the Executive Committee Forum, ladies and gentlemen. And I also must welcome the President of the Institute of Hospitality, Ms. Renuka Jamana. When I was asked to make a speech during this session, I was thinking what to talk about. I was thinking of a subject that I am very close to my heart, that is the human resource aspect. You know, the industry since 1983 has gone through a lot of turbulence, but we have survived. The last being the Easter Sunday attack, which again brought us back to zero. And we were just coming through this when the COVID pandemic came onto us. It's not only here, it's the world over. At present, we are really down. And when I say we, I consider myself still to be a hotelier. Although I have retired, I still do some work for the Tourism Development Authority, where we inspect hotels to classify the hotels. At the moment, with this virus, we have lost a lot of staff because of the salary. There is hardly any service charge. And the industry is finding it extremely difficult to sustain the staff. During the last few years, we have sustained, and we are known as crisis managers in the industry, because crisis after crisis, we have come, we have regain and regain. So now we have to live with this crisis. In my opinion, this virus will remain in the world for the next 18 to 24 months. But we have to take our own precautions and move forward. As the chairperson told you all, this country is blessed unbelievably, because I travel a lot on inspections, and I have seen the top hotels to the boutique hotels to all these places. Now, when you talk of the industry, the international community is still very much in favor of us. In Colombo, we are expecting 6,000 additional rooms to come. JW Marriott, Ritz-Carlton, ITC India, Sheraton, Intercontinental, Address, Grand Hyatt, some of the few hotels. We already have about 25,000 rooms in Sri Lanka in the formal sector. That is the hotels, the star-class hotels, boutique villas. And then we have another about 15,000 rooms in the informal sector, what we call the homestay, Airbnb, etc. Now all this contributes. Where do we find the staff? Generally, we calculate the staff as 1.8 to 2.5 in a hotel per room. depending on the food and beverage outlets. In a boutique hotel, we calculate 5 per room because you have to give better service, butler service, individual services. At the moment, we have about 180,000 direct employees. I'm talking before COVID. Indirect is multiplied by 5. That is the fishmonger, the vegetable seller, and the others who give the industry to sustain themselves. So we are talking about 600 to 700,000, 6 to 700 total who is depending on the hotel industry. So how do we retain the staff? Why are we not getting staff in the hotel industry? One of my friends who did a survey on the female aspect in the industry found that only 7% of the females are employed in the hotel sector, which is very poor compared to the other sectors like the garment sector, the forces. One reason why we can't get females into our hotels are there's a myth among the parents අපේ දුවට යන්න දෙන්න බෑ හෝටල් එකට වැඩ කරන්න. Or they tell the child කියන්න එපා හෝටලේ වැඩ කරනවා කියලා. Some husbands don't like to give their wives to work in hotels. These are all done research I'm talking because my friend has done a thesis on this subject. When we opened the Lanka Oberoi in 1975, our coffee shop which ran 24 hours, 2 shifts were run by females, 6 to 2, 2 to 10. We had. Why aren't we getting the females coming in? Number one. Why aren't we retaining our staff? One reason is the salary. The hotel industry salary structures are very low. If you recruit an ordinary steward, you will start with about 50,000 rupee salary. But of course, they get their uniforms, they get their meals. And the service charge very often is 3-4 times the salary, which is very good. But the issue here is, when they go to get a loan to a hotel, the banks don't give it. Why? Because your salary is low. They don't consider the service charge as a part of your remuneration, which is correct in one way. But we have to find solutions to this if we have to get more coming into the industry. This country is blessed with talent. When a hotel about 3 years ago opened in Colombo, I don't want to mention the name, even I can mention Merino Beach. We were doing some consultation to the project. The chairman of the company told me, I want to bring people from the rural areas, can you train? We said yes. He got 150 people from the rural areas. 150 young people. Some were in their showrooms, and we trained them for 6 months, and there are some still working in the hotel. So I say there is enough talent in this country to harness the talent. Then another aspect that is very, sometimes it's a little dicey, but I am free to talk because I don't work for the hotel now. Bringing expats to this country. I have no objections to them coming. What I say is, okay, the investors say, I want to bring 10 expats to come. General manager, yes, I accept it. Chef, yes. What about the rest? We have talent in this country. We don't need. Even if my observation is, if you get an expat to work, get a Sri Lankan to understudy him. 2-3 years. That's why our Sri Lankans are going overseas. They don't want to stay here. Very soon Malay is opening up now. then Middle East is opening up. We'll lose. So we have to find ways and means of keeping the staff, giving them employment, giving them necessary motivation. Training, in my opinion, is a motivation. Then food, accommodation. In the resorts, they are given accommodation. So that problem is sorted out in the resorts. But when you come to Colombo, where do they stay? They have to find a house or a boarding and they have to pay 5,000, 7,000 rupees. They don't want. Again, this hotel I was talking about, that chairman had a vision and he said, let's build a dormitory for the staff to live in the hotel. It worked. So, Colombo city, if you want to retain, you have to find accommodation for the staff. Otherwise, they won't retain. In the resorts, this problem doesn't arise because they have their own areas to stay. They have the, and when we go on inspection, we are very particular about the staff accommodation. Staff meals. Give them a decent meal, otherwise they pay for the food. They get around the chef and they pay for the food. In a hotel, you have to give a decent meal to the staff because that is part of their salary. Uniform, meals. I know this hotel has a fabulous staff meal. This is an international chain. Now with these international chains coming, they are also marketing Sri Lanka as a destination for their products. This hotel has 101 hotels worldwide, and they are marketing it. So what I say is, if you need to retain our staff, we have to find ways and means of keeping them. Salary alone is not enough. I once did a study how to amalgamate the service charge with the salary. But I got a lot of bad comments from the top people. Said, what are you trying to do? Because the salary is so low, if you don't amalgamate the service charge, there are ways and means of doing it. Calculate your service charge for 2 years. Take the average and pay the average monthly into the salary. But what are they saying? They are saying, no, if you do that, we have to pay the EPF, ETF on that whole thing. So what? If you want to retain staff, you have to do something in return. Or else, what I am going to say is, we'll have to bring minor staff from Bangladesh, India, Philippines to work here, which is a disaster. When we have talent in this country, we have to harness it. So, this is my, we have 52% of the population are females. So why can't we get them into the industry? Renuka knows about this very well. Right? So we have to find ways and means of getting them. The next one is retirement age, which is a joke in this country. Now, I saw a cabinet paper a few days ago where they are asking the private sector to increase the retirement age to 60. I retired in 2004 and I am still active. When you get the people to retire at 55, you are losing your top talent in your company. Why are they doing it? When you are retiring at 55, you are on a higher salary. When you replace the guy, you pay a lesser salary. These are very, I won't say, I don't want to describe this, but this is what is happening. Unless the industry leaders take note of this, amalgamate the salary and the service charge in some way or another. So you have a good salary to go to a bank and ask for a loan, a housing loan, a vehicle loan, otherwise you won't get a loan. But they are very happy when they get, I know there are certain hotels who got 100,000 rupees service charge, whereas the salary is 15,000. So in my opinion, if the industry has to sustain, the growth is there. Post-COVID is going to come in very heavily because we are having a fabulous marketing plan. The chairperson is a very active, positive person. I know her. So all this is falling into place. Then where are we going to have our staff? Our human resources have to be developed. Training. We now insist that every hotel has a training manager, have their own standing operating procedures, the manuals. Why? Training is motivation. So these are my comments. And in conclusion, I like to thank everybody who gave me this opportunity to say these few words. And also, there was an article in the FT a few days, 2 weeks ago, that 600,000 young people are planning to leave this country for various reasons. I don't know the reasons. Maybe the reasons are there. Why? If we can't retain at least half of this, we are going to suffer. Our population is aging. So we have to find solutions. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. We hoteliers are called various names. Some call us diplomats. Some call us dogmatic. Some call us Democrats. Others call us doorknobs. Some are calling us deserters. And very often we are used as doormats. Thank you.